All right, something cool here is with Will Martin from Earshot. How you doing, man?
I'm good, buddy. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, it's a pleasure, dude. I just got done listening to your new singles, and I have to say, you got some good tracks on your hand there, my man.
Thank you. Has been a bit of a shot in the arm for sure, but I'm glad you dig it.
Not bad for a couple of love songs.
A couple of middle-aged guys, handful of middle-aged guys, anyways, right? I was just laughing. That was I did an interview for those who don't know him, did an interview with your son, and that was one of the things that he mentioned to me was that I was a very nice middle-aged man. I almost died. Literally almost died. That was so funny. So good.
Yeah, it's a trip, man, especially to hear that from a kid. So now one of the songs here is an unplugged version of a track that you guys previously put out, and that's Tongue Tied. What made you want to dive back into it?
It just seemed like a really good companion track, for you and I, which is, maybe I think one of the first, at least positive love songs that I've written lyrically. But, it was always a favorite song of mine too, off of our second album too. And Andy, one of the rhythm guitar player, just messing around a while back, sent me a recording on acoustic. And I just remembered it being really cool, the way the vibe of it. So we just went into it, and it, came out really organically, really easy. And we didn't spend a whole lot of time on it. I think we spent maybe, 10 days, and that included, people trying to figure out what they wanted to do. But it was just came together really nice and easily. And we really wanted that just raw kind of live, vibe to it anyway. So, and it also felt, since we were releasing You and I on Valentine's Day, I was mindful of the fact that not a lot of people enjoy or appreciate Valentine's Day for what it is. So we kind of wanted to make sure we had something for everybody, I guess.
Nice little treat for all those lonely people out there. Here's a song about, some love, or maybe possibly breaking up. There you go.
Exactly.
Now, the one thing that I heard you talk about was that your experience weren't actually the basis for You and I, but it was a friend of yours. Now, have you ever told the friend, hey, man, this is you in the song?
Well, no, what I meant to say is that not all songs that I write are solely about me. So, You and I is partly about me, but not entirely. And it's also about a lot of other people's experience as well. When they meet somebody new that they really like and are into, and you get all those warm and fuzzy feelings, and, kind of borderline obsessing, all that stuff. We're just another person that kind of consumes all your head time. So that was the premise of the song, and it's just something that kind of rolled out of me lyrically. It was one of those moments similar to some of the other songs that we've written, like Wait and Get Away, that just came out real easy, just came to mind.
Yeah, it's one of the things that's always fascinated me when I think about songs is, the reaction of the person that it's actually written about, like the All American Rejects with the Gives You Hell song. I would love to know if the girl that he wrote that song about is running around and be like, it's me. I'm the one he wants to rub it in my face that he's successful, and I'm working at Walmart now.
Yep. No, totally. But, I would literally have to call every person I know, I think, with this song to let them know that, hey, I wrote a song that you kind of inspired, in part by the song. I mean, I think that's the beauty of, when you actually pen a good song, it sort of, you know, its meaning transcends, you know, the creator, and it's becomes something bigger than. And I think, you know, songs that can apply to everybody, you know, are the ones that, you know, people gravitate toward because everyone can relate. And that's what's so cool about music.
Yeah, for sure, man. You know, I mean, it's always nice to get lost in a song and just think, you know, that song was written about something that may not even have been, but it means that's whatever it does to that actual person that's listening to it.
Yep, absolutely. Agreed.
Now, I understand that you guys are done releasing full lengths and you're just going to be focusing on singles now, man. I really think that's the wave of the future that the entertainment industry is gearing towards.
Yeah, I mean, I just I mean, don't get me wrong, I love records. Um I just I don't feel like, and I always, I'm constantly analyzing, you know, the business or whatever it is that I'm interested in actually, but I'm always analyzing and trying to figure out, you know, what the habits of people are, or what trends are, and I just don't see a lot of evidence that supports that people listen to whole records anymore because of, you know, music streaming, and you can stream anything on demand. And the beauty of it is you have, you know, tens of millions of songs that we can stream at any given time in any order that we want. And I think it's harder to listen to albums the way that you used to listen to them. So I think, you know, given the fact that it does take a lot of time to, you know, to write and produce a song and then eventually get it released, and it's, you know, 10 songs, it's hard, you know, for people to pay attention to each of those songs. And I feel like it kind of does an injustice to the songs that kind of get glossed over, you know, and don't get the attention. So to me, it just makes better sense, you know, to put out a song or two at a time and really let people digest them fully before introducing them to some more songs. I just think that, you know, attention span and time is very limited these days. And I just don't think, I could be wrong. And if I'm wrong, then we'll go back to making records again. But I just feel like, and plus also too, you know, with releasing a song or two every couple of months, it enables us to give, you know, our fans, you know, a clear picture of what's happening with us right now or close to right now versus, you know, typically when we write albums, you know, it's a year and a half, 2 years from the time the songs are written before, you know, a label puts them out and starts marketing them. And by that time, we're all in different places by then. So I think that's kind of a cool thing too, doing it this way.
I mean, there's so many aspects to consider. I mean, you know, with this, it's hard to put out a piece of shit when you're only putting out one song. You know what I mean? Sometimes when you do a record, there might be a track that, you know, maybe not everyone's convinced that it's a good song, but you needed to have a certain amount. And you said, you know what, I'm going to toss this bad boy on there or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's definitely, you know, one of the other sides of the sword is that, you know, if you're only putting out one or two songs and one or both of them suck, then that kind of puts you into a predicament. But I mean, listen, everyone, there's always going to be, I don't think you or I could sit down and name a single band that puts out music where we say that every single song that they put out was great. You know, it's impossible to please everybody. As Perry Farrell once said from Jane's Addiction, you can't be everybody's friend.
Not only that, man, I mean, you know, as far as financially speaking, I mean, do people even buy CDs and stuff anymore, really? I mean, I don't even own a CD player when I come to think about it.
Well, right. I mean, the only thing that plays CDs or the like are probably, you know, PlayStations and Xboxes, you know, but and I know that there are some people out there that have them, and I just technology has moved on, the world has moved on, and it's not coming back. The horse has left the proverbial barn.
Which is a shame, man, because I can remember being a kid, and I don't know what the chain music store was in your area, but we had a media play was the big thing here. I mean, it was a gigantic, you know. I mean, I don't
Yeah.
know. You walk in and it's just you used to buy shit just because of the album cover looked cool. I mean, if you already caught up and you know on anything new that you wanted to see, you wanted to check out something new, you're just going through and
Yeah.
said, hell, this looks cool. I'll try this album out. And you're stuck with the whole thing. You know what I mean? If it sucked, whatever. But if, you know, you might get one or two tracks on there.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a huge Metallica fan. And after, I think it was the Black album, you know, they put out records that, you know, I personally feel were pretty lackluster. They put out, you know, a few albums actually after that, but I still bought them and I still gave them a chance. And I still kept the CD just because I'm a completionist. I'm a fan of the band. And then, of course, you know, recently I feel like they've put out some great records. So, but you're right. I mean, there was something to be said about having something tangible in your hand that, you know, when you're a fan of something, you owned it. It was yours. And with the digital, it's not really ours, you know, but now the hardware is ours, right? The phone is ours, or the iPad or the computer or whatever we're streaming them from, that's ours. So it's just been really interesting to me to watch how technology has become the tangible component and music has kind of, you know, become the ubiquitous thing, like water that can just come and go as it pleases.
Do you remember going into a record store when they first started doing the thing where you could put the headphones on and they let you
Oh, yeah.
listen to the album? You know, there was like, you know, you push the button, they'd have a couple things there. And
Oh,
now look,
yeah.
now it's changed to you put your headphones on, you get the goddamn every song they've ever wanted is at the tip of your fingers there. I can say to Alexa right now and she'll give me any song
Yep.
out.
Yep, that's right. I remember those days very vividly. And I used to go into record stores all the time and check out, you know, music that way. And that helped me decide whether I wanted to buy something or not. It was, you know, I do miss those days. There's something to be said for, you know, walking into a gigantic warehouse sized room with literally surrounded by music all around you. I mean, as I'm sure you did, I've wasted many, many hours and days and months, you know, collectively over the years in those. And it was a really cool thing. And it is, that's kind of been the missing component, I think, you know, since streaming has kind of come into the picture. However, I will say that, you know, there are some positive things too that have come from music streaming, you know, namely, you know, it used to be back in the day, the record days when they had records in the stores, were that if your album wanted to be bought in the UK, for example, usually it was available as an import if you were a US band and vice versa. So now with streaming, you know, pretty much everybody can access the same music across the board, which is cool. You know, scratching and losing CDs isn't a thing anymore. You know, one of the things that I liked about digital music when it first came out back in, I think 2002 was when I first bought an MP3 player before iPods existed, was the fact that I could carry multiple albums and not have to lug them around with me. So there's been a lot of positives to it, but you know, we've also lost, you know, as we've been talking about, a little bit of the, you know, that touch, that magic touch of actually holding and feeling and looking through, you know, the whole package of an album.
Oh yeah, that, and you know, I mean, it's the recording process too has got to be a million times easier than it ever was. I mean, you guys don't even got to be in the same room anymore, in the same country, even, you know.
Well, and you know, and that's, you know, how we have been recording because we all live in different places. So, you know, when the pandemic hit, you know, we were slated to go into a studio and start recording ideas. I think we had like 6 or 7 tracks that we all liked that we wanted to get started on. But when the pandemic hit, that all was put on hold, and we had to figure out how to use technology to be able to continue to work. So you're absolutely right. That's one of the other cool things about technology, is that's made possible now. Whereas before, you had to be in the same place, and studios were very, very expensive. And some of them still are, the ones that are still standing, which a lot of people, can't afford. You're talking the minimum of, you're in a good studio, it could be anywhere from $2,000 to $5,000 a day. So definitely a lot easier now. The only thing now is you have to learn, how to be a recording engineer, and you have to know what you're doing, with gear like compressors and all that. And obviously you still have to, have the talent to be able to arrange a song and write a song and play and sing and all that stuff. But it's definitely gotten a lot easier, for sure.
It's funny to think of what's going to come next. I mean, I used to always say there's, especially during the pandemic, when a lot of bands were doing like a live stream of them in their house or whatever, doing acoustic songs or whatnot. I'd always say you could never take away the experience of a live concert. And then just recently, I watched the concert through the Oculus, that virtual reality thing, and it was like almost very close to actually being there.
Yeah, I had a friend. Funny you mentioned the Oculus. I just had a friend of mine that was over last week, and he was telling me about the Oculus. He's like, "Bro, you got to get one of these. You got to check this out." And then he was telling me all about all the different things that he's experienced with it thus far. And so it's definitely on my radar. I'm in the research mode now. Like, which one do I want to get? Which one's the cool? All that stuff. So, but it does seem like we're getting ready to enter into a new chapter of this era, for sure.
Well, I mean, there's so many possibilities there. Not only, like I said, you could do a concert, whatnot, but like the actual interaction you could have with fans now is like you can do a meet and greet and actually meet each other almost, but not, and be different parts of the world if you wanted to. I mean, a lot of cool shit can come from this.
I really hope that live concerts, don't move to that, because it's really tough to play in front of nobody, without that immediate reaction from people that you can't see or, look in the eyes. It's really, really tough. Bands feed off of that live one-on-one connection, playing live. So I think that would be I would imagine would be a big challenge for a lot of artists. If live concerts were to begin to move that way, and that's the way people started experiencing concerts. But we'll see what happens.
No, I wasn't saying like instead of doing a live show, like the one that I watched, it was an actual concert, you know what I mean? But somebody was filming it. I don't know how I don't even know what kind of cameras they even use, but it was like you were standing in the crowd. I mean, I could look next to me and there was people, I mean, I didn't get sweated on or anything like that, but it was very close to, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's what I mean. And that's what I'm not saying that you think that it should or should. I'm just saying that technology is getting to that place where it's probably already possible. But I hope that doesn't change too much, I guess is what I'm getting at.
No, I could never see it taking away completely. I mean, people need that release. I mean, there's nothing greater than a concert to get you away from reality for those, 2 or 3 hours at a show, regardless whatever's bothering you. When you're there, you're just lost. You know what I mean? In the moment.
Sure.
Which is a very cool thing. Plus, virtually, how are you ever going to get into a mosh pit, man?
Oh, there's that too. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I'm sure everyone's had their moment where they went through and got a hit in the pit at one point in their life.
Or even headbanging. I mean, you might throw off the headset and break it. I mean, all kind of.
Yeah, right. Smash something around you for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
So I know you guys haven't played any shows in a long time. I mean, are you looking forward to it? Are you nervous that you might not, be where you once were? Are you practicing? What are you doing to make sure that your voice stays in check and you're ready to do a show when the time comes?
I mean, I'm working on music and songs pretty much all the time. If not for Earshot, I work with a bunch of other artists and bands that are friends of mine, or that I do one-off songs for. So I'm constantly in my studio, pretty well much singing. Not every day, but I would say at least a couple of times a week, which, I mean, I've been doing it long enough now where, singing has kind of become second nature to me. Like it's automatic. It's like riding a bike. So, I'm able to keep my chops up that way. And that's pretty much how, the other guys do too. They're constantly, writing and playing, whether if it's not on our stuff, they're playing on other stuff, or have other projects. So, it hasn't been all that hard. And plus I took up boxing back in 2018 with the trainer. So I took a hiatus from that during the pandemic because it wasn't really a lot of fun. A lot of the parks around here were closed down on top of that. But so now I'm just starting to crawl back into that. So that keeps me in good shape, pretty good shape.
Now, going forward, do you have any dates booked or anything like that, or what are your plans?
No, there's talks about we might go do a one-off show in Vegas. But other than that, there's also been some other talks of maybe going out and doing some dates, I think in the next month and a half, 2 months. But we'll see. I think at the worst, we'll probably, start hitting it in the fall or early next year, I think is what we've kind of come to terms with. But we're, if something comes up that makes sense, we'll definitely consider it and most likely go do it, because all of us want to get out of the house and back out there and start playing shows again. So just have to wait and see what happens.
That's cool, man. I'm glad to see you guys are doing what you can too, and keeping everything going. A lot of bands just thought they were gonna jump back out on the road without playing for a couple of years, and I'm not gonna drop any names, but I'm sure you've seen some videos.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough. I mean, it's no, you're right. And it's gonna be a minute, I think, before everyone gets back into the swing of things. But I think that there should be some, at least a little bit of thought put into making sure that you've got a good show to give to fans when they come out. I think it sort of behooves to sort of just rush out and not put on a very good show, I guess.
Now, have you attended a show at all since the world opened back up, or what?
I have not. I actually I had to fly to Las Vegas the other week to meet with, totally unrelated to the band. I had to meet with the production crew for Chicago who were playing in Las Vegas. So I was sitting on the side of the stage while I was having the meeting while they were rehearsing, but there was no crowd there. And they sounded fucking amazing, by the way. I was like, holy crap, they sound like better than they ever did. Unbelievable. So that's the closest thing that I've come to a live show since everything's started to reopen.
Yeah, man, I'm getting the itch myself. I haven't been back to a show yet, but it's I'm in New York, so there's a lot of different rules and regulations that let you go to a show, and I don't fall into that category yet. So we'll see.
Yeah, same. It's the same here. We're not far behind you here in California, so I feel your pain.
So after this, what's next for you?
Just we continue grinding it out. I mean, that's kind of where we're at. We're just grinding it out. Continue writing. We'll we should have something here in the next couple of months, new to come out, and we'll probably start, focusing pretty soon here on, like I talked about a little moment ago, trying to maybe pick up some shows here and there that make sense. But again, we don't feel like we're in any rush to do that, but it's definitely something that, we want to get on the block here. So that's pretty much it. Just more writing, putting out more music, keep doing, more press stuff, just keep getting the word out, just, sort of build a little momentum going into that.
Now, when you guys are featured on as many video games as you guys have been, do they how's that work, man? Do they send you the game? You get to
They do. They sent us, I think they sent us each maybe a couple of copies, and I think they sent us, I think the reason why it was a couple is because they sent it to us for both platforms. But yeah, and then we got to go in, and I met with the creative team that programs and puts the games and produces the games over at EA Sports. Did the whole tour and shake hands and take pictures, all of that stuff that I'm sure you can imagine. And it was really cool. And I'm a huge Madden fan. So it was definitely great to be a part of that. And, maybe hopefully we'll get another shot at that. But I love video games. I don't play them as much as I used to, but once in a while I'll still sit down and, I'll throw on Madden or, Hitman or MLB. Those seem to be my 3 go-to games. So we'll see what happens with that too.
Yeah, when my kid lets me, I'll play for a minute or two, but nothing like
Yeah. That's too funny. You have a great kid, by the way. I'm sure you already know that, telling you something you already know, but really great kid. A lot of people that have seen the interviews just have adored him.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate that. I'm very proud of him.
Mm-hmm. Should be. Absolutely.
Now, people want to follow up with you. They want to check out the singles. They want to see what's next, maybe get some tour dates, things like that. Where do they go? What do they do for everything?
Yep. So they can, of course, go to our official website at earshotband.com. And then all of our social media handles are super simple. They're all the same. So it's facebook.com/earshotband, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, all /earshotband. And I think it's probably our social media channels are the most, frequently updated. So that's probably the best place for people to, follow us and get merch and all that stuff.
Awesome. Well, from one middle-aged man to another, it's been a pleasure speaking with you.
Hey, man, likewise. Appreciate it. And, thank you guys for helping out.
Thanks, man. Take care of yourself.
You too, my friend.